In this video, we will talk about how to create variables in Kotlin, what are val and var keywords in Kotlin, what is type inference, creating some functions in Kotlin language, and then we will see some special kind of functions which has expression body. So let's get started. To create variables in Kotlin, you have only two keywords, val and var. So basically, if you are familiar with Java, you have been creating variables by giving the type first of all, then the name of the variable, for example city, and then equal sign, and then you give it a value. That's how you create variables in Java. In Kotlin, you have only two keywords, val or var, to create variables. Var, name of the variable is city, then you put a colon that is followed by the type of the variable that you want to create, and then you give it a value. That is a string created in Kotlin with var keyword. There's another keyword, val, name, colon, string equals to see. So what is the difference between var and val? So basically, var stands for variable, val stands for value. The difference is var can change its value. The name, which is val cannot change its value once they have been initialized. You want to create a variable of type int, you follow the same syntax without semicolons, and val by double. That's how you create variables in Kotlin. Now you might be wondering why there are only two keywords, why we can't put the string at the start. Kotlin provides a feature which is called type inference. You might have seen or if you have an experience in other languages, you don't have to specify the type of the variables in all languages. For example, JavaScript, you don't have to mention the type of the variable when you're creating them. While Kotlin is statically typed language, it provides you a feature which is called type inference, which lets you create variables without specifying the types. So for example, if I create a variable called country, and if I assign it a value UK, Kotlin compiler will be able to figure out that the type of the variable country is a string. If you create a variable which has a number value, it will infer that the type of the variable a number is int, which is integer equivalent in Java. So, and that's basically it. And instead of values here, you can use expressions or function calls, and the compiler will be able to figure out the type of the variables which don't have types mentioned explicitly. Let's create a function. So in Kotlin, you create functions using fun keyword. You give it a name. So we'll create a main function. In the main function, we'll basically print our variables. So maybe city, println age, println country, correct the print. Right, so we'll print these variables. Before I do that, let's try and change the value of a val. So if I put name equals any value, the compiler gives me an error saying val cannot be reassigned, which means it has been initialized up here and it won't be able to it won't let me reassign another value to the val. The function will be find greater. So basically, you say fun, name of the function, and colon after that, the return type, which is int, and then the body. So what I've said is I want to create a function, find greater, colon, its return type, and then the body of the function. For the arguments, we say it's going to take two numbers, a int, b int. So similar format. For the arguments, you give the name of the argument, colon, followed by type, name of the other argument, colon, followed by the type of the argument. And then after we have defined the function name and arguments, we put a colon, and then we say what is the return type of the function. And inside the function, we can say if a is greater than b, return a, else return b. Right, and we can call this function here, find greater 10 and maybe 8, and let's call this function and see what we get. Okay, we got 10 as expected. Right, so basically one of the biggest benefits of Kotlin is that it has a very concise way of writing code. It's very idiomatic, like you're writing English. To simplify this expression, we can, by the way, if statement, if in Kotlin is not a statement, it's a expression, which means what I can do instead of doing this is I can simply go return if a is greater than b, put the parentheses, right? So I can just do that. Now if you're familiar with Java, you can obviously not do that in Java, because if is a statement and you cannot have a return before if. But in Kotlin you can do that. If is a expression rather than a statement. So here I'm saying if a is greater than b, return a, else return b. So, this is another way of writing that 4 or 6 lines long expression into just one line. We can further reduce the find greater function lines from 3 to 1. How can we do that? We can use functions with expression body. What is a function with expression body? We will create another function, find greater 1, a different name. A is int, b is integer, and then rather than putting a semicolon and a return type, I will just put an equal sign, and I will just write my return expression in the function above. So if a is greater than b, then return a, else b. So this body here is an expression. That body of the function is an expression, and this function find greater 1 is called a function with expression body, where you don't need the return type because it is using type inference to find out what the return type of the function is. And you don't need the return statement either, because it is using that expression, and whatever value is calculated or whatever happens as a result of that expression gets returned to the caller. We will stop here And in the next video, I will talk about classes, their properties, maybe constructors, and the relationship between the classes and what extra features does Kotlin add to the classes. So stay tuned. I will see you in the next video. Take care. Bye.